This video is sponsored by DistroKid, and DistroKid we already know is the best way to get your music on all these streaming platforms, whether that's Apple, Tidal, Amazon, Spotify, and even TikTok. So with that being said, I do have a link below in the description of this video where you can get a 7% discount off of your first year with DistroKid. And this gives you the option to actually reach out with other artists and other producers and actually do splits really easy for all your work on all these streaming platforms. I think the splits is one of the things that really draws me into using DistroKid. And if I know someone else that I'm actually collaborating with actually has DistroKid, I know it's going to be really simple, really easy to make sure everybody gets their fair split. So I don't know what you're waiting for. You should definitely be trying DistroKid. The link is below in the description. Like I said, you'll get a 7% discount off of your first year with DistroKid. See you there. Yo, what the deal? It's your boy X.E.L. Welcome back to the channel, man. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, you. Thank you for coming back. But if you are new here, please do me a favor and like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll let you know when I drop another video. And today I'm actually going to be going over a drum program called Speedrum. Yes, it has like a sampler built in. It gives you an option to save your kits. It gives you an option to set it up on different tracks. I'm going to show you all that in this video. So let's go. All right. So the first thing you want to do is make sure we can actually download the software. So I am on the Episonic Audio webpage, and it's called Speedrum. That is the name of the program. You have an option here to buy. It costs $59 for the whole product. I'm just going to be showing you the demo one, and you can just download it and you'll be able to use it on your DAW. As you see, it has a whole bunch of different things on here that you can actually use. I'm going to go over all these steps on here, different samplers that you can use, a couple of different features for different sets, pad controls that you can actually use. So you can control each pad individually. Really dope. It has its own effects inside of it. It gives you an option to layers for your samples. So if you have like a whole bunch of different snares and kicks and things like that that you want to change according to how hard you hit it or for the velocity, it has that option in there as well. And it also has an option for samples, so you can slice loops and actually put them in there as well. I'm going to show you all these features. The link is below in the description of this video if you want to actually go and download this. Like I said, they have a really cool demo mode. It gives you all the features that you need. The only options you won't be able to do is to save. You won't be able to load your kits. And you won't be able to like save your shortcuts if you do like any kind of shortcuts. Those are the two things that I've seen that you're not able to do. Everything else you're able to do and keep everything together for this drum machine. I think it's really dope. So let's get into it. All right, so here we are in Cakewalk, and this is my dark theme. If you're interested in this theme, I have a link below in the description. You could download this for free, or my light theme. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna hit this plus sign here, and I'm gonna go to instruments, and I'm gonna go to Speedrum. So there's several ways you can actually set this up. I usually like to make a folder. So I'm gonna hit on this advanced, and I'm gonna create a folder, and I'm gonna go instrument per track out. And basically it'll make sure that it makes 16 tracks, and it's hit create. And it's gonna create the folder, and it's gonna also create all the speed drums in here as well. So if I click on this first one, it'll actually bring up the VST. All right, so this is what it actually looks like. I'm gonna go to the demo mode. If you buy a license, that's cool, or activate it, you can do it from the site. I'm just gonna hit on demo. The demo is pretty much exactly like the full version. The only thing you can't do is save, or should I say load up your kits or save like your folder presets. That's pretty much the only thing I've found that I wasn't able to actually do. And it doesn't save your drums for your session. So like if I close out this session, all the drums and samples that I have in here will be lost because it doesn't save it. All right. So with that being said, let's get started on here. So right here is the option to resize it. If you want to resize it, make it bigger or smaller. I think that's really cool. They have it just set up right here. This little button here is an option to save. So if I actually had something in here, let's go to my Smash Kit. If you haven't downloaded the Smash Kit, you should definitely do that. The Smash Kit is very awesome and it's free. So the link should be below in the description. You could download that. So I'm just going to use the first kick here. I'm just going to put it on a pad. As you see, you could just drag and drop onto any pad that you want to and you'll be able to play it from here or from your keyboard, or if you have like a drum machine or something, you'll be able to play it according to that, right? So if you right click on it, it gives you an option to add a sample. You could rename your pads. You can name it to whatever you want to. You could cut and copy. You could paste it. You could export it. You could change like the trigger mode it has for it as well. Right from here, you can mute in solo, and you could also lock the sound in place. I think that's really cool. So now you can see you have the option for the kit. You can save the drum kit, and it'll make it into a folder. You have no issues saving the drum kit, but in order to load it, you need to have the full version. So if you go here and click on that, it'll give you an option that says load drum kit. And if you don't have the full version, you will not be able to load it. You can import drums if you have them set up that way. You can import them into Speedrum. Here's your save as kits. Here is your set your outputs. So you have all to master. You have it set to A to master. So you have different sets. So this is set A. This is set B right here. And this is A and B together. I'll show you that in a second. So you could set it to 16 channels on A, or you could do 16 channels on B and set that up either way you want to actually do that. I think that's really cool that they have it set up really easy. Here's your user guide. If you click on that, it'll take you to the site to get the user guide. You could check for updates and activate the device, all that good stuff right here. This option here is for your MIDI. So if you click the button, you can see the MIDI light up. This is your global volumes. You can turn it up or down. Here's a folder where you can actually find all of your sounds. So you don't have to go through the search on side of your DAW. You could always go in here and set them up. You can't set them up if you don't have the full version. So if you don't have the full version, you won't be able to set them up, but you can always still find them. You have also settings for your control, your GUI, and audio, and some miscellaneous stuff right here as well. So I think they give you a lot of things for this demo version, right? So you have your A section, you have a B section, right? So you can add up to 32, or you can just combine the A and B and have all 32 on one screen. I think that's pretty cool as well. You also have an option to do distortion. So if you click on this button, you'll be able to use the distortion. So yeah, so you have an option to do your distortion, which is really cool. You can also filter. You can hit here and it'll give you different kind of filters that it actually has on here for high pass and low pass filters, right? You have a compressor here as well. So you can, if you change your ratio, change your threshold, you'll be able to compress whatever you have on that track. I think that's pretty cool, right? You have an option to do transient, which is really, really dope. So I can make the attack a lot faster and harder, as you can see, and I can put a clipper on there. I can smooth it out, right? And if you double click, it should go back to the middle. You have an option to do a sustain to make it last a little bit longer. I think that's pretty cool as well. And of course the gain on here to increase the gain. Really dope. A double click will bring it back to the middle. You have an option for velocity, and you can humanize your velocity. So when you're playing, it'll automatically kind of make some things higher and lower, right? You have an option to do your pitch, and you have an option to do send. So this is delay and this is reverb. And here's your output volume for these sends. You also have a volume envelope that you can actually use for attack, hold, decay, and release, and also a pitch envelope. So they're giving you all of this stuff in the demo mode, and you can actually use it on any of the tracks. I think that's really, really cool, right? So going down on this side, you have this option here to reset your red robins. So if you have multiple kicks set up on here, you can reset your red robin settings for them. So let's add another kick, right? So let's add this kick, and I'm gonna put it on top of it. And as you see, I made another piece here. So you could do that either way. So you could do it down here, and as you see, it'll give a plus sign, so you can add it, and all of them will be added to this same exact kick, and all of them are playing at the same exact time right now, right? And you could change your color, change it to blue, right? So you give the option to change your color to your different sets that you want to. And if you have a sample that's playing inside here, so you clicked it and this keeps playing, you can hit right here to stop any of the pads from playing. So that's what this mute button here is for. So you can drag and drop the sample. So say I have them all combined here, I can drag this sample and actually make it into its own sample inside the DAW. You have an option to re-trigger, or you can do a poly, so you can play like multiple things on top of each other. You also have the option to do one shot or note on. So basically, if you let go of the key, it'll let go of the sound. So right now, the one shot will go all the way through. The note on is however long I hit the key is what it'll actually play, right? So you have your mute and your solo. You have a volume, pan, and a pitch option right here as well. This is your cut and your cut by. So if you have a sample that you want to cut each other with, you can use these right here. And you can also do a trigger so that it'll trigger another key. So like, let's say you wanted your kick and your crash to hit at the same time. You could set these triggers up to, so when you hit this key, it'll actually trigger the other one as well. I think that's really dope that they have this all set up inside here. Really, really cool. So here is where you can see your wave file. This is where you can see the velocity. So you could change your velocity. So how hard things actually hit in order for that piece of sample to play. You could also do it to where if you hit on this little hamburger here, you could split and make it fall. So there's 3 sections here, right? And I can click on this V, and now it matters how hard I hit it to what actually plays, right? So 3 different options for your velocity that you have set up on here. I think that's really, really cool. You can have it to where they're all tight, or you can make them just one single hit. You can make them a round robin, which is really cool as well. You can have it do a random one. So anytime you hit the kick is always just doing a random kick. And you can also do it to where you have randomly execute different kicks as well. So I think that's really, really cool to have that set up in here. So you have your hamburger here, so you can do a delete of the note. So if I want to delete this one here, I can delete. If I wanted to duplicate this one, I could duplicate it, right? So now it's duplicated. I'm gonna delete it though. You give you an option to render and replace, right? So you can kind of combine them and then render them out. You can load them in the slicer. The slicer's down here, so you can actually load your samples into the slicer to slice them up even more, right? And if you go down here, it gives you an option to move or change the kick. So I can change the kick right here. And it's going to go through all those kicks that's in the pack. And it's telling me there's 14 of them in there. So I can kind of go through all those kicks right here inside of the VST. It also gives you an option for a random. So you could do like a random sample and this randomize which one gets chosen. I think that's really, really dope. Right, I'm gonna set it back to wave so you can kind of see the wave. So slice will slice it if you change like your endpoints. So if you change like your endpoints on here and you hit slice, it's gonna slice up the sample. As you can see, it made it into that slice a lot smaller. You can reverse the sample. You can use phase on here as well to phase the sample. This is for your normalization. So if you click on it, it'll give you an option to do a 0 dB or -3 or -6, which is really cool. So you can kind of set whatever you want to be as your normalization. You have a stereo here. You could do mono left and right. I think that's super, super cool that you could do all this right here in this sampler. This is like one of the only ones you'll need is this Speedrum. So if you do decide to purchase it, I think it's well worth the investment to purchase it. But if you don't, then you can still use the demo version and still use it to its full potential. You have your volume, your pan, your pitch. You have an option to stretch here as well. You have an option to normalize. So you have your mute and your solo. You have a low pass, a high pass, and you have an option to offset. So you can offset how quick it starts or how late it starts, right? And you have a pitch envelope here, right? So this is what you would get from the pads layer. So let's say you go to the slicer, right? And let's find a sample. Right, and you can just drag and drop the sample or loop in here and it'll automatically play. You have an option to stop and play right here. And this is the autoplay. So if you drop something in here, it'll automatically play. You could turn that off if you want to, so you don't have to have it on there. You can switch your samples right here, going back and forth if you want to. So you can go through any sample that's actually in that folder and play it, right? So it'll give you any of those options in there. And if you wanted to say add your own slices, hold down shift and click, and it'll slice the samples to wherever you want the samples to be sliced. Right? So now right, really, really dope options that you have in there. So you can even do it by your beats per minute. So if I click on this beats per minute, it'll change it and have it set to whatever the beats per minute is. You have an option to do a free beats per minute, so you could kind of set your own. You could do it to the host. So whatever the host is, it'll slice it to that, and then you just hit stretch. And what this will do is actually stretch the sample to whatever the tempo is of your host. I think that's super dope, right? And here is the option to set the beat length. I'm gonna set it to 2 to 1, right? So now, so if you are a person that use like the MPC, you can kind of figure how all this actually coincides. And then you can just drag and drop these into your pads if you want to. And I think that's super dope. You can kind of just set this up however you want to on here. So let's say we go here, right? And we're just going to use all 8 of these. Right? So now we have all 8 of these samples in here, but the only thing is like they all overlap if you try to play them, you know, by clicking them. So what you want to do is hold down Control and make sure all of them are highlighted, right? So now you want to go to this cut, hit on the 1, hit on cut by 1. So now all of these are set to cut each other off. And there's no overlap. So that's how you would do that in here as well. I think that's super, super cool that they have that set up in here to play the sample exactly how you want it to be played. Right? And then you have your option for your sends. And like I said, this is your delay. So you can turn on your send delay if you want to. You have an option to do a reverb as well. Here's the reverb settings that you can set up on here. Really cool. You also have a compressor that you can set up on that. And these are all to the individual ones. So it's not like you'll have to do up to all of them. So it'll set it to whichever one you have it set to. Really, really cool. Right? So you have an option to do the clipper and do a soft clipper. You can also do gain for your output. Really, really cool stuff, man. So, yeah, so let's make something really quick. All right, so now, I mean, you could either play it like as an MPC, and you know, you can chop up your samples. Right, so you have the option to play it all out like an MPC, or if you want to just bring it up inside of your step sequencer or your piano roll, you could do that. I'm going to bring it up in a step sequencer just to make it a little bit, I guess, easier. All right, so we're going to do 16. So that'll be like 4 bars, right? So let's start with a hi-hat here. Let's see which one. Let's start with this hi-hat. I'm going to right click on here, and it'll give me an option to fill every 2 steps. And let's kind of add some accents. So something really simple, just to kind of give it a little bit of a bounce. All right, and I'm going to set a loop in here. So I'm going to click on here, and I'm gonna hit on my loop, and it'll set it for 4 bars. So now we have our 4-bar loop set up on here. We can add a kick if you want to. All right, so all of these are the samples. So let's see. All right, so I was able to make something in here just using the step sequencer. Nothing spectacular, nothing to write home about, but just to show you guys that you can make something inside here really simple and easy with Speedrum. All right, so here we go. Just something really simple you can kind of put together. You can play it either from your keyboard, you can do the step sequencer, or you can even use the piano roll. So I think this is a great option to actually have inside of Cakewalk, seeing that it doesn't have a sampler in there currently. So this gives you the option for the sampler and the drum kit all in one. But with that being said, that's pretty much the end of this video. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you join the Discord. We do a live beat review on Thursday nights, and we do sample flips every month. So definitely join in on the fun, and I hope to see you there. And once again, it's your boy, X.E.L.O. Till next time, people. Peace.